So Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today Shloka is Shloka number 5 of chapter 1. Drishtaketuschekitanaha
Drishtaketanah
Kashirajascha viryavan
Kashirajyasya viryavan
Purujit kunti bhojascha
Purajit kundi bhojasya
Shaibhyascha narapungavaha.
Shaibhyasya narapungavaha.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki
Bhakti Jai.
Drishtaketuhu.
Drishtaketu
Drishtaketu.
Drishtaketu
Chekitanaha.
Shekitanah
Chekitana.
Shekitana
Kashirajaha.
Kashirajah
Kashiraja.
Kashiraja
Cha.
Sha
Also.
also
Viryavan.
Viryavan
Very powerful.
very powerful.
Purujit.
Purajit
Purujit.
Purajit
Kunti bhojaha.
Kunti Bojah
Kunti bhoja.
Kunti Boja
Cha.
Sha
And
and
Shaibhyaha.
Shaibhyah
Shaibhya.
Shaibhya
Cha.
Sha
And
and
Narapungavaha.
Narapungavah
Hero in human society.
hero in human society.
Translation. There are also
Translation: there are also
great heroic,
great heroic,
powerful fighters
powerful fighters
like Drishtaketu,
Drishtaketu,
Chekitana,
Shekitana,
Kashiraja,
Kashiraja,
Purujit,
Purujit,
Kunti Bhoja,
Kunti Boja,
and Shaibhya.
and Shaibhya.
So now we will get to know a little bit about who are all these individuals. Prabhupada does not write a purport to this shloka, but His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has written a detailed view of who are all these various names that are being mentioned by Duryodhana in this particular shloka. Here, Duryodhana is continuing the description of Pandava forces, and he describes Drishtaketu, who was the son of Shishupal, king of the Chedis. Now, Shishupal was an anomaly in his dynasty. His dynasty was not demoniac. When he was born, he was having some extra heads and hands, and those head and hand fell away when Krishna saw him. And his mother was knowing the prophecy that the person by seeing whom his head and hand will fall away, that person would eventually kill Shishupal. So his mother asked Krishna for a benediction that please don't kill him, even if he offends you. Krishna said, I won't kill him, even if he offends me 100 times. More than that, I will not tolerate. So Shishupal went on a rampage during the Rajasuya Yajna, insulting Krishna. When Krishna was chosen to be the recipient of the Agra Puja, somebody who has to be the main person who is acting like a chief guest at that Yajna. And everybody decided, including Bhishma Dev, it should be Krishna. But the one person that was not happy with that choice was Shishupal. So Krishna was chosen for the recipient of Agra Puja, for being deemed the most worshipable person in that assembly. And when he went on that rampage, he lost the count and spoke more than 100 insults. And then Krishna used the Sudarshan Chakra to stop his offenses by beheading him, by doing bloodless head surgery. Not a drop of blood fell. And that is how Yajna was not defied, its sanctity was not lost. Because when Krishna kills Shishupal, had a drop of blood fallen on that floor, that entire place would have to be purified and the Yajna would have to be started all over again. So Krishna killed Shishupal in such a way that there was not a drop of blood that was produced or that was fallen on the floor. And therefore, the yajna place was still sacred and they could continue with the yajna. So is it that Shri Krishna wanted to kill Shishupal, so this insult has happened? The point is not the insult, but the mentality, the demonic nature of the person, which is manifested through his speech. So how do we know that somebody is a pious person or somebody is a demoniac person? The first way you find out, one of the ways in which you find out, is their speech. So Shishupal certainly did not control his speech. So Krishna saw all that, and despite giving him many opportunities to reform, to check himself, or to at least keep him within civilized range, Shishupal did not accept any of those. So Krishna decided to purify the sinful mentality by separating him from his sinful body. So Krishna saw it. Enough is enough. I promised your mother, up to 100 insults I will accept. I will not say a word. I will not get angry. I will not retaliate. Over 100, your son will be killed. So Shishupal got carried away at this yajna. He wasn't keeping track of the count. He stepped over 100 and he was killed. Now Shishupal has many sons, and his eldest son Drishtaketu was subsequently enthroned as a king. It may seem a little odd that Drishtaketu, the son of Shishupal, is fighting on the side of Pandavas. You would think he would be having this mindset, hey, Krishna killed my father. Why should I fight on the side of the Pandavas? But he did. So therefore you can understand that Shishupal was an anomaly in that particular dynasty. Otherwise, they were always aligned with the pious forces, in this case, the Pandavas. It is said that Shishupal was an out-of-character person within that dynasty. Otherwise, the dynasty was considered to be very virtuous. And even Shishupal, prior to the Rajasuya Yajna, when the Pandavas went in different directions to conquer over the world so that all the emperors of the world would come and offer tributes to Yudhishthira, at that time Shishupal welcomes the Pandavas and he said that I respect Yudhishthira as a virtuous ruler and I will come and I will offer tributes there. There is no need to fight. So it appears that Shishupal had a problem only with Krishna, not the Pandavas. So Shishupal's problem or enviousness was towards Krishna and not the Pandavas. So his enviousness was fueled when Krishna was selected for the Agra Puja. So after Shishupal was killed, his son Drishtaketu was grief-struck when his father was killed like that. But he knew that it was a duty of any self-respecting man to not let so many insults in a public assembly go on and challenge. And it was Shishupal who had invited death upon himself, and Krishna has tolerated it so much, but ultimately he kept his promise. He killed him when he stepped over the count of 100. So Drishtaketu did not bring any resentment toward Pandavas, although it was the Pandavas' Rajasuya Yajna where his father had been killed, and he sided with the Pandavas in this war. And Drishtaketu was actually one of the formidable commanders. Drishtaketu should not be confused with Drishtadyumna, who is the son of Drupada. He was mentioned in the 3rd verse as Drupada Putrena. Drishtaketu fought gallantly with Pandavas and he was killed by Drona in extremely furious battle. So slaying Drishtaketu was one of the heroic achievements of Dronacharya, as he was not an easy opponent to slay. So that is who Drishtaketu is, that Duryodhana is mentioning by name. So Drishtaketu is actually the son of Shishupal. Then Chekitana. Chekitana is the son of Drishtaketu. Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that both Krishna and Arjuna was of the same age and both were more than 100 years of age. So even grandsons were grown up. Example, Lakshmana, who was the son of Duryodhana, he was fighting and his sons were also fighting. They were referred to as Pautran. So Chekitana was the son of Drishtaketu and he was also a very formidable warrior. Chekitana was one of the commanders of the Pandavas' army. So the father was one of the commanders, the son was also one of the commanders of the army. A commander means there were 7 Akshauhinis and he was the commander of one of the Akshauhinis. So in the older generation, Drupad and Virat were commanders of one Akshauhinis. Then Bhima was the commander of one Akshauhini. That is in the Pandavas generation. And in that generation, Drishtadimna was the commander of one division. And also he was the commander of the overall army. Shikandi, who is the brother of Drishtadimna, he was also a commander of one division. Then Satyaki was also a commander. He was called Vivadhanam. So all of these are the various commanders that have been mentioned. Chekitana was killed by Duryodhana after Karna was killed on the 17th day. The next 18th day, when Duryodhana came, he saw his army was devastated. He saw Salya falling. He saw Shakuni falling. He saw his army was wiped out. Duryodhana has killed very few warriors and Chekitana was one of them. So both father and son gave up their life for the Pandavas on the war field. The relationship between the Pandavas and the Chedis were cordial. Drishtaketu also has a sister named Karenumati who was married to Nakula. So it's all in the family. Families were fighting on one side, other side of the family was on the other side. Now, sometimes some kingdoms were more famous than the specific kings who were there. And just being the king of that kingdom was itself considered famous. So one of the names mentioned is Kashi Raja. So Kashi is a sacred place. And to be considered as the king of that place is also considered fortune of the kingdom surrounding that place also. So the king is sometimes known by his personal name. Sometimes he's known by his common name. And common name may be the name to the place where he belongs or the area that he is ruling. So Kashi Raja is not further described much in the Mahabharata. But the fact is, if a person is the king of an influential kingdom like Kashi, is itself significant. And that also is a matter of concern for Duryodhana. There was a Kshiram who was mentioned in the Bhagavatam who was inimical to Balaramji, and his mouth was smashed by Balaramji. So here is a Kshiraj who is fighting on the side of the Pandavas. Now the other name is Kunti Bhoja. Kunti Bhoja. We know the word Kunti as the name of the mother of the 3 Pandavas. Of course, she is considered mother of all Pandavas because she took care of all of them. After Madri, who is the mother of Nakul and Sahadev, passed away in the childhood. Of course, she walked into the fire. We identify the word Kunti with Queen Kunti. But Kunti was also a kingdom which was ruled by the Bhoja dynasty. So the Bhoja who ruled the kingdom, Kunti is celebrated as Kunti Bhoja. So the names in the Vedic culture were so fluid. So one person often has many names and one particular name will become sometimes prominent. So Kunti Bhoja was the ruler of the kingdom, Kunti. And he was a close friend of Surasena, who was the father of Vasudev, who was the father of Sri Krishna. So now Kunti Bhoja, despite having a flourishing kingdom, could not get a child So Surasena, out of affection for his friend, gave him his own daughter. Now, his daughter by birth was named Pritha. But when this daughter was handed over to Kunti Bhoja, when she comes to the kingdom of Kunti Bhoja on the request of her father, she then accepts the name Kunti Bhoja as her father for all practical purposes. But when someone will call her Pritha, this name was given by her birth father, Vasudev, so that will remind her and others, Surasena, about her actual father. And Kunti was sensitive that when someone calls her by that name, she says, let me put aside this name, which reminds me about my actual father, and adopt the name which connects me to you, Kunti Bhoja. Because you are taking care of me, you are my father now. So she came to be known as Kunti, which reinforces her connection to Kunti Bhoja. So Kunti Bhoja was a formidable warrior who fought on the side of the Pandavas, and he was the father of Kunti. Similarly, when we take initiation, our new name gives the importance of our connection with our spiritual master. Giving identity to a person by giving him a name, although we are a soul, but in this world we are not known as soul, we are known through our bodies. So giving names shows the act of intimacy between two people. So that is the act which parents do for the children. And similarly, that is the act that the spiritual master does for his disciples. And therefore, during the Diksha ceremony, the spiritual master will change your name. Because Pritha has a name, so she need not have to do that. But she did that to make the bond with her father more intimate. Therefore, Kunti Bhojascha, the father of Kunti, was also fighting on the side of the Pandavas. So Duryodhana in this way speaks about the formidable warriors on the side of the Pandavas so as to alert Drona and alert his forces to fight consciously, knowing the strength of their opponents.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.